This is Stan Fischler, and this is the Power Play Break, the place to talk about pucks.
Back here in the Power Play Break with Bob Errey. Okay, you played in Errey, and there's a lot of characters, a lot of funny people. There's got to be some great stories that pranks you guys pulled or things you did. I mean, what are some of your funnier things you've done?
Well, the one thing I did is everybody shoe checked everybody. That's what you get under the table and you put chocolate sauce or A1 sauce, HP in Canada, sauce on the guy's shoe, and then you ting ding and everything else. So against Bob Johnson, we're down in the Stanley Cup Finals against Minnesota. So I get under the table, Bob Johnson's on the table next door, and Scotty Bowman's looking at me, and I'm down on my knees under the table, and I'm putting sauce on Bob Johnson's shoe. And then we all get up and we ring the glasses, and everybody's looking around, and somebody said, "Coach," and he goes, and he looks down, and he's got shit all over his shoes. And we're down in the Stanley Cup Finals, so I'm trying to keep it light and everything else, and he was, "Oh, you guys finally got me!" He felt like one of the guys. He couldn't believe you act like he was. Scotty Bowman was all stern and stiff, but Bob Johnson was like, "This was awesome." It just, I can't
Brought
believe
everyone
you guys
together,
did.
took the tension
you guys,
away.
Yeah, you guys think of me that much like I'm one of the guys, and brought the attention away from the Minnesota North Stars talking about their parade route to us coming back and winning the series.
Now, what is something that was done to you by a veteran? I mean, did they,
Oh, they're brutal. Like on the planes, we used to fly in commercial all the time, right? So we had the best times because usually you're hungover. You got the 6 a.m. flight, you're coming back, but so everybody would be sleeping on the planes, I'd be sitting in the middle because I'm small and I'm a rookie,
You get the middle seat, you don't get the window, you don't get the...
beside a guy your size and some other mother over here. And next thing you know, when I get off the plane and I look down and my tie was half a tie. And then I'd look in the mirror and I'd have shaving cream with a flag on top of your head. And you're on this plane with normal people. And they're looking at you like, they must be looking at me. What are these guys doing? These guys are a bunch of morons. That was just stuff that happened every flight, and everybody got it.
Oh my
Crazy
God.
stuff.
Now, in hockey lineage, you're a third cousin to Ted Lindsay.
Yeah.
How did that come about? I mean, was somebody married upon married upon married?
Do I have to explain how that happens? No.
Do we have a pie chart graph or
I don't know. My mom's dad was a great player. He almost had a chance to make the original six, and related to Ted, so they went to parties together. I never met him in at a family setting, but when I played for the Red Wings, he came in and I told him. He didn't know, but he was in there working out. I don't know how old he was, in his 70s at that point or whatever, and just lifting weights and everything. I couldn't believe though, he was tough. I guess he was tough as nails, but he was so small too.
Yeah.
I know even in his playing days, those guys were 165 pounds, tough as nails.
Was he a nice guy to you? Or?
Oh, he's awesome.
Did he talk to you about anything once he found out, through the marriage world?
Yeah, I mentioned a couple of things. Oh, well, Wally or something, But yeah, he was awesome. Perfect hair, Ted Lindsay, but this guys that you just when you're in their presence, you just Jean Beliveau, Ted Lindsay, Gordie Howe. There's just certain guys. Bobby Orr, he had that aura about him. You're in the presence of some of these guys, and they're like royalty. They really are.
Who impressed you the most? Did you have a hero growing up, and then you actually got to meet him when you made the NHL?
Yeah, I was a Bruins fan, so it was Bobby Orr, it was Phil Esposito. So to this day, I'll go see Phil Esposito, and he's so nice to me, And so.
Did they live up to your expectations?
Yeah,
when you met them, or were you kind of like, wow, he's not as, he's a really nice guy, he's a hockey guy,
Yeah.
He's not a, did you build them up? Some kids build up their heroes.
Yeah, I don't think I did. I mean, I was, where I lived in Peterborough was actually, the Leafs weren't very good then. It was Boston fans or Montreal fans, it seemed to be. And for years, Guy Lafleur would kill the Bruins. And, but we stuck true to our colors, me and my buddy, who was a Terry O'Reilly fan. But no, I just love the Bruins. I love meeting, I met Johnny Busick up in the press box a little while ago, and Phil Esposito, all those Bobby Orr. I mean, yeah, they were all great. I don't know if I built them up more than they really were.
Try and model your game after anybody? when you were a kid? Did you say, I want to skate like him, or I want to play like him, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I watched the little Kenny Linsmans and those kind of guys.
The Rat.
I don't know, I mean, I don't know if I wanted to model my game after guys like that, but I know I probably, piss people off a little bit sometimes. I mean, I had to change my game. I couldn't score in the NHL, so I had to be a little bit of a
Instigator.
I had to be a little bit one of those guys. I mean, I couldn't. The other thing wasn't working.
Yeah.
So I hated playing against guys like that, though. Like, I hated playing against Laurie Boschman. I mean, I hated. So there were some guys out there pretty good with their stick.
All right, so we're going to do some little life things now for you. What's the greatest piece of advice that was ever given to you?
You're too small. Because I just took that and ran with it. I said, yeah, I'm too small. Where do you get a load of this?
Best part about being in the NHL as a player?
Being with the guys away from the rink. Enjoying the off-ice curriculum. That was the best part of hockey, I thought.
Toughest part of being in the NHL that somebody may not know. What's the hardest thing about being in the NHL as a player?
I used to travel. I mean,
The
it's
daily
not all
grind.
glamorous. I mean,
Yeah.
we might go to LA once a year or once every couple of years, but you never get to do anything. You never get to see any part of the city. And the only time you get to do is when you're retired. You miss so much of hockey. And the travel's hard. It's tiring. And when I did it, we did a commercial for 10 years, first 10 years of my pro. So getting up at 5:30 in the morning after too many beers and sitting in the middle aisle, it wasn't all that fun. Putting on the wet equipment when you got back into your hometown.
Who's one opponent who gave you the most trouble when you played against them? Like you always hated this one guy. Oh, I
Well, I
can't.
hated Scott Mellenby because, you know why? Because,
You friends with him now or no? You still
yeah,
hate
he's a great guy, but, then he fought me once. And that wasn't fun either. Couldn't wash my hair for about 5 days, but, I mean, from him putting lumps on top of my head. But, yeah, like I could get away with a lot, but some guys would actually fight me, and I didn't like that because I wasn't a good fighter.
Yeah.
And other guys wouldn't. Like, there was tough guys, like Dave Brown, those guys I was terrified against. I remember I ran Gretzky in a hockey game, and Semenko came over to me. He looks at me and he said, "I'm going to kill you." And I had to check my drawers after that. He looked down at me, "I'm going to kill you," and I totally believed he was. Seriously, he's a big man.
What's one moment or one game you'd like to go play in again in your career?
Well, that first game against Jersey, we win the first game in that finals against Jersey. We're going to win the cup. I mean, I didn't like that. And I didn't like Game 4 either because I was on the ice for way too many goals against. But at that point, it was over.
Now, when you won the cup the first time, what's one thing you really want? Everyone gets a day with it. All the different players get a time with it. What's one thing that you wanted to do when you said, "I'm going to get the cup"? Here's one thing I really want to go do. What did you do with it?
I wanted to have a party with all my friends that had helped me get to where I was at that point, and it stuck by me when things weren't good. My family and friends it was important that they all celebrated with me, and we did.
Dad and Mom, they actually come to see you win the cup, or?
No, it was in Minnesota. My wife was there. It was on the road. Both of them were on the road, so we had to fly back with it. But in the summer, when I first got the cup, there wasn't a guy with white gloves that escorted you around. I went to Toronto, went to the old Hockey Hall of Fame, grabbed it. It was in like a coffin, and brought it back. And on the way back, me and my buddy are looking at each other, and we're looking at this coffin in the back, basically. And we stopped at the Ace Submarine, and we said, "We got to check and see if it's actually in there." So we opened it up, and it's unbelievable. There it was. So I had it for a couple days, and then actually had to bring it back to Toronto myself, and it was unbelievable. I had it up at the lake for a couple of days. It was phenomenal.
If you were going to give advice to a young player today, what would one piece of advice that you want to pass on and say, "Here, this is what I did, and this worked for me. It might work for you"?
I would say don't do other things. You want to be a good hockey player, that's fine, but be versatile. Do things that might help you. I played lacrosse, played ball hockey. It wasn't 365 days a year for me. I don't know how kids can do it without getting sick of the sport. I just think sometimes it's just too much. So I would tell kids to, let your body and your mind kind of dictate how much you're on and off the ice, and tell your parents to take a hike.
And this is the last question we've asked everybody on the show. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and how would you use it?
Superpower. That would be to go back to when I was 25 or 26 years of age. So bring back youth.
Bring back youth. Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can. Usually people say they want to fly. But
No, I want
wanna
to
go back
I want
to
to
your
go back
20
to when I was 26.
You wanna
If
take
I'm
the-
old enough.
but take the knowledge you have now and
Take
bring it
the-
with you.
Yeah. And win another cup. Just have one more chance at hoisting it.
I want to thank you very much for your time here today in the Power Play Break. It's been very fun. We've had a great time, as always. That'll do it for this edition of the Power Play Break. Our thanks to Bob Errey. I'm Chris Riley. Remember, this is the place to talk about pucks.